All right. Welcome back to the Anvil Union Brewing Podcast. If you're new here, I'm glad you're here. And if you've been following us for a while, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that almost nobody in the fitness industry, wants to admit. And that's you can absolutely enjoy craft beer and still be healthy. You can build muscle, you can lose fat, you can train for races, you can run a business, and you can enjoy life, which is the most important thing. The problem isn't beer, the problem is how most people approach it. For years, the message has been all or nothing. Never drink, never have pizza, never enjoy dessert, never miss a workout, and never skip cardio. And then, what happens? People do great for 6 weeks, then they, binge because they've been all or nothing. And then they quit. They feel guilty and they start over on Monday, over again and again and again. And that cycle just, is what keeps people stuck. At Anvil Brewing, we believe health should improve your life, not make you afraid to live it. Beer's always brought people together, families, friends, communities, celebrations. The goal isn't to eliminate those moments. The goal is to make better decisions around those times. So let's talk calories. Most craft beers range from about 150 to 300 calories depending on the style. A light lager might be closer to 100 calories. A big double IPA or stout may push well over 300. That doesn't mean one is good and one is bad. It just means, awareness matters. So if you're meeting friends tonight, maybe breakfast is protein and fruit. Lunch is a lean meat, vegetables, and potatoes. You hit your water goal during the day, you get your workout in, and then you enjoy a couple beers without guilt and you have some fun. That's called planning. Successful people don't, rely on willpower. They rely on preparation. The same applies to food. So, beer doesn't magically create, body fat. Calories matter. Protein matters. And activity matters. And as well as recovery. And then the biggest thing is consistency matters the most. So if you're eating quality food 90% of the time, training several days each week, sleeping well and staying active, having a few beers with friends isn't what derails your progress. What derails your progress is, turning 2 beers into 12, turning 1 burger into, entire weekend of poor decisions, and then turning 1 night into, I'll start over next month. And here's another thing people forget. Alcohol affects recovery. That doesn't mean, you can't drink. It just means timing matters. So if you're preparing for a marathon, a high rocks race, a powerlifting meet, or, big competition, whatever it might be, maybe you reduce your reduce your alcohol during those final weeks. Then once the event is over, enjoy the celebration. Fitness should support your life, not replace it. You shouldn't be black or white. And then let's talk hydration. One of the easiest habits you can build is, alternating every alcoholic drink with water. That's simple. It's effective. You'll feel better. You'll recover better, sleep better, and probably enjoy your evening even more. And hopefully, not have a hangover. And then speaking of sleep, alcohol may help you fall asleep faster, but it usually reduces sleep quality. And that's why, when you wake up feeling tired after several drinks. So if recovery is a priority, keep alcohol moderate and avoid drinking right before bed whenever possible. And then let's shift gears for a second. One thing we're building here isn't just a brewery, we're building a community. So, a place where runners can meet, where gym members can, gather after races, where small business owners can connect, which is pretty cool, where families spend time together and where conversations happen. And that's something we've lost in today's world. So everything, is online, everything is rushed, everything is isolated. We want to create a place where people actually know each other again. So, where your bartender knows your name, where your running group meets every Thursday, and where your local musicians like to play, where veterans gather, where charities raise money, and where people celebrate birthdays. Where someone walks in not knowing anyone and leaves with new friends. That's what community is. And that's what Anvil Brewing is about. Now, here's a challenge for you this week. Pick one healthy habit, just one. Drink more water, walk 10,000 steps, lift weights 3 times, whatever exercise plan you pick, it should fit your lifestyle. Eat more protein, go to bed 30 minutes earlier, whatever it is. Focus on mastering one habit instead of trying to change your entire life overnight. Small wins become, transformations. And remember, your health isn't defined by one meal, one workout, one beer, or one weekend. It's defined by what you consistently do over months and years. That's what creates lasting results. That's what makes it a lifestyle. So if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you just subscribe, leave us a review, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And if you're local, we'd love to have you stop by Anvil Union Brewing. We're going to be opening up soon. We have a beer club, we have fitness challenges, all that good stuff. If you're looking to meet some incredible people, support local business, and become a part of the community, we're building together, then we'd love to see you. Until next time, stay strong, stay humble, keep forging ahead. Cheers.